Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unleashing Unlimited Power. This is Dr. Eurita Taylor. Life as a millennium for our youth today. That's what we're talking about. That's the hot topic of today. What is life like for the millenniums? We have people from all walks of life, people from here in the US, people from the Caribbean, young men, young ladies, whomever. They come on the platform and they speak their truth, whatever their truth is. We're not here to judge them, but we're just giving them the freedom to speak about what's going on with them so that they could not only educate other young people, but they could also motivate them for wherever they're at in life. Today we have with us Chanel Jackson. Chanel is in Antigua, and I just want to thank you so much. Thank you, Maha, for joining in to do this for me and my audience. Welcome, Chanel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to speak with you and your audience today.
Thank you. So my question is, what is life like as a millennial for you?
Okay, so basically, we're young people. We're in our early 20s. It's the time of your life where you're trying to figure out what it is you want to do, what works for you. So of course, at this stage in life, it's a case where you're going to be sifting through a lot of things. You're going to be trying out new things, like to see what really works for you, what it is that you're truly passionate about. And life as a millennium for me is basically just finding myself, figuring out what it is that I love doing, what it is that I'm passionate about, and still finding a way that I can turn that into making money and still be happy. It's all about the time freedom and as well the financial freedom. So that's how I look at life as a millennium. Now, it's not an easy road, because when you think about the fact that, okay, you're trying new things, this doesn't work, and then you get discouraged, and then you try something else, it doesn't work again, and then it's almost as if you're on a marathon and it's really nothing is really working for you. But the most important thing about the entire process is the vision, being consistent, and of course being disciplined. It's not so much so motivation. You can have motivation and then it can die 20 minutes later or the next day, but it's just to focus about being disciplined, being consistent, and just sticking to what you want to do.
You talk about a lot of things right there, and a lot of it I want to touch on. And I know, it's very interesting, because what you're saying is that, at your age, you're trying a lot of different things because you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're meant to do, your position in society. So you're trying a lot of things to find out who you are as an individual. What is it you're meant to do? What is God's purpose for your life? So let me ask you a question. What are some of the things that you do to help you to find out who you are?
It takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of you, like, basically dating yourself to understand, okay, this is me, this is what I like to do, just enjoy my own company. I don't want to say that I go with the flow. My energy, if I feel off about an energy, or I feel overwhelmed, or have an anxiety attack, like not attack, but an anxiety effect based on something, my response to that is to step back and try and understand, what it is that we have to do.
One of the things that you touched on your first answer was, some days you have motivation, 20 minutes you don't have motivation, or the next day you don't. What do you do to motivate yourself? How do you find your motivation?
How do I find my motivation? I just do a lot of manifesting. I do a lot of self-talk. I talk to myself, I try to give myself a pep talk that I want somebody to give to me. So that's what I do for motivation.
And it works for you, I gather.
Yeah, it does. It works.
Well, that's a good thing. Tell me about your job. Are you happy in your job? And if you're not happy in your job, what are you doing to get to that? Have you found your purpose, I should say?
Well, I'm still finding it. I'm not going to say that I'm not happy in my job, because at once I wasn't. But what I find is that I'm doing it for me, especially because I said I'm trying to be consistent. I'm doing the work for my betterment. So it's not so much so for the company. Yes, it would look good, but it's just so that I'm building that consistency with myself. And then, once I do that and everything else flows, it doesn't really have to do with them. It's just basically me teaching myself how to be disciplined.
Very good. I like that. I like that. You use that term, that word discipline a lot. So I
Yeah,
gather
it's
that
something
that's
very hard.
important for you.
Yeah.
Tell my audience what's the importance of having that self-discipline.
I think because discipline, okay, it's something going hand in hand with, if you want to do something, it's not, everything that you do is not going to be easy. But if you have the discipline to do it, I feel like you will be able to get to it a lot easier than actually say, okay, I want to do it, and then I'm going to start it, and then I'm going to stop. You understand? So it's basically to train you to actually continue with doing what you said it is that you want to do,
To
and just to
persevere.
follow through it. Yeah.
Right. To persevere and keep going at it, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
There's no quick answer to the things that we want to accomplish in life. So in other words, to have that self-discipline, to stick with it, that's some very good advice that you're sending out there, because sometimes even the folks that are outside of the 20s and 30s, sometimes we try to start something and it doesn't come together right away, and we don't have that discipline to stay with it because we want the answers right away. So what do you do while you're waiting for something to come through for you? You're waiting for that your dream job, and it's not happening right now, or you're starting your business, it's not happening right now. What do you do to keep yourself within that discipline guideline while staying motivated to wait for your day to come?
Be grateful. That's the number one thing. Because I realize if it is a case where you're looking for change and you're not grateful for where you are, it's going to be really hard for you to get it, because then you can't even, adapt to what you have now. So why are you going to get something? Why are you going to get what you want? It makes no sense.
Oh my gosh, good answer. So in other words, you're saying they need to be thankful for where they are before they can move on to bigger things. To whom much is given, much is required. So if you want more, you have to be thankful for where you are in order to move forward. I like that. That's very good advice. Now, so let's shift the topic a little bit. So you work with your mom. What's that like? And how does your mom influence, what you guys are building together? Is she your role model? What are you learning from her?
She is. It's a bit challenging because it's basically like you're basically mixing business with pleasure. And we hear a lot of times not to do that. But it's not challenging to the point where I can't do it, because we do work well together. It's just some aspects where it's a bit difficult when you don't see eye to eye, you're not meeting each other halfway. It's just the roles change in that it did definitely changes. So it's good. I enjoy it, but at the same time, it's not always easy.
I think I understand where you're coming from, because it can be okay. At home, you're my mom, but now we're in business together, we're colleagues, and sometimes they don't know how to step out that, mother role to let us spread our wings where we could go. So I commend you for that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to work with my mom, or if I remember my children will be able to work with me. I'm not sure, because it's like two different age group and different ideas, different visions and different experiences. So it's kind of like putting them together in the same room, and they can be clash of the titles. Clash of the titles. I can understand that. Okay, so let's shift a little bit. Okay, in today's society, and I heard even in Antigua, what's going on with the young people. We have some that are running away from home, and there's suicide that's going on. And I was really surprised, because when I lived in Antigua, we didn't hear, young people doing the things. We didn't do the things that I'm here going on right now. So when you hear about these things, all of the young people are getting depressed and the things that they're doing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think not even Antiguans alone. I think Black parents, it's like, okay, you would say that you're depressed, and then they would say, oh, you're not depressed, and then they kind of brush it off, and then they don't take it as seriously as it actually is. And I think that's probably why a lot of young persons are committing suicide. However, um it is just a case where I personally think, and this is just my opinion, I think that it's, they have the saying, you talk to people. I wouldn't say that in its entirety. I would probably say know who it is that you can talk to, because if it is a case where you're going to be talking to somebody and it's a dead end, or you're going to be talking to somebody and you're not really getting the support that you want to get, you can really tell based off the first conversation if that's somebody you really should be talking to.
Right.
So I feel like it's just to identify who you can talk to and who not to talk to. If you can't talk to anybody, writing it out probably helps. It's just to figure out how it is that it's hard. You can't really say in the moment what you think or think they should or should not do, because you I think they say the saying says, who feels it knows it. So
Right.
it's just to try and decipher to see what it is that works for you, what makes you feel better. When you're depressed, you really don't really think about getting better. You're just stuck in the funk. You're stuck in the fact that, okay, I'm depressed, this is how I feel. You really kind of feel this form of entitlement at the same time, but still trying to figure out how to get over it. You understand? So it could be very challenging, but I don't know. I think because of the pandemic as well, it's a lot of persons are trying to adapt to that and still adapt to not having a job and all these different things. So it probably has a lot to do with all of that and everything that's going on now.
Right, 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 right. It really does. And there's a lot of different angles to that, because our young people are faced with a lot of things. One of the things I should say that you mentioned that I need to talk about it before I forget, you said that it's not just Antiguans, but it's Black families. You tell your mom or your dad, I'm feeling depressed. And they say, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And that is so true. And I think it's a generational thing, where it come down from generation, because nobody ever really care what the Black person have to say. They don't, it's like, do what you're told, and this go all the way back to slavery. You know what I mean? What your master tell you to do, you do it. And even
Yeah.
today, we still have that mentality where it's, what, go to work or go to school, do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be seen, not heard. Because I grew up in a household where it's be seen and not heard. Especially if the grown folks are talking, you don't have nothing to say. They could be talking
Yep.
about you. They don't want you to say anything. I'm like, right here, I'm right here. Can you please say? And it's like, be seen and not heard. So that's a very good point. And our young people are faced with that. So it's not, we're not taking the time out to listen to them and hear them saying,
Yeah.
okay, this is what's wrong with me. Can you help me fix this? Not saying that suicide is the answer, but it also helps you. The point you brought out also makes you realize, well, okay, that young person might not be in a good place. Maybe we should start to listen. Okay, on that note, there, let me ask you, what do you think would be, in your opinion, of course,
Yeah.
if you were to go to your mom and you're saying, Mom, I'm really not in a good place today, I'm feeling depressed. Or you might be saying, I'm anxious about something, I'm having some thoughts that are not really in line with what I should be doing. What would you hope that your mom would say or do?
Probably ask me why, what's the root of it, what's causing you to feel that way. I firmly believe, like, there's always a problem, but then also there's always a solution towards that too. This is to figure out, help me figure out what is it that I need to do to not feel this way, or what triggered me feeling that way so that I don't do it again. Just trying to set the emotions and figure out why am I depressed? What is it about the situation that makes me depressed? Just to try to figure it out. Because, yeah, when you think on your own, yeah, you probably be able to analyze it. But when you think and get the opinion of somebody else's, it's probably a different, because then they're seeing things that you're probably not seeing in the moment, you know? So that's probably what I would hope that would happen.
So you expect her to lend you her ear and her time to listen out to
Yeah.
see where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's basically what our young people. But then on the upside of that is that, the parents are giving advice and the kids are not listening. Hence the reason
Yeah.
why we're having this conversation, because we know that the young folks, they listen to each other, but they don't always listen to their parents or an elder for that matter, because it's like, even when I was younger, we all act like we know everything. We don't want to hear anything our parents have to say. But we're at the time where now we need to make a change, because things are getting really drastic. Where we used to go outside and play outside, and we're outside picking fruits and playing netball or whatever outside. Now young people, they're more staying inside, and they're playing the handheld game, and they're getting more depressed. So you're right, it's to the point where it's gonna take two. They're gonna need to start to listen, and then we as the parents need to turn around and listen and let them talk. Hence where we're at. Okay, so now let me ask you a question, and I know this is like a shifting topic, but let's talk a little bit about relationships. I know I threw your curveball on that one, but I got to go
No,
ahead.
I kind of figured that was
Earlier.
coming.
Oh, you kind of figured what's coming? Okay, good. I won't ask you any questions. I won't tell you what to say. Speak to my audience.
So you want my opinion on it?
Yes, speak to the audience.
In terms of what? Like, what aspect of it?
Relationship, what is relationship like for you? What are some of the things that you, and I didn't want to tell you, but since you're asking, what are some of the things that you're learning in relationship with the opposite sex? You can even talk about what's working for you, what's not working, what some of the things that you have to do while you're learning the opposite sex.
Patience, a lot of it. Communicating. I feel like, in all honesty, the argument thing really is not me. I can't do that. If I feel a certain way about a situation and I come to you about it, I expect, it's a communicating instead of arguing. I think a lot of times the social media facade is like, okay, I'm crazy. Okay, and what? After that, what? So I think it requires a lot of patience and a lot of communicating. That's how I see it.
You were so right. That just goes to show it doesn't matter what age you're at, relationships require patience. You mentioned one thing that I want to touch on before we go: social media. Give me your thoughts on social media and how do you think it negatively affects our youth? Does it positively affect our youth? What are your thoughts on that?
Social media affects you based on how you want to take it. I mean, there's positive things on social media, it's negative things on social media. You really can't control what is posted on social media, but it's basically what you present yourself to see. What do you follow on social media? So you have the control to, if I want to see something negative, I'm going to follow somebody negative. If I want something positive, it's your control. It's nobody on social media telling you, oh, this is what you need to be following. I mean, probably, but you have the choice if you want to do it or not. It's your device, your account. You click what you want to click.
And that's true. And that's true. And we know sometimes our young people, they get, and not just young people, people on a whole get on social media. Next, they're on there for hours. When you add up all the time that they're on there,
yeah, it's addictive.
Hours. Yeah. Yeah. And when you post something, you want to see 1 million likes, and you don't see 1 million likes, how devastating that can be. You know what I mean? What kind of advice would you get my audience about social media?
We post on social media what we want people to see. So it's not a case where, okay, if you're going through, well, some persons will probably post their bad side, the things that happen to them, but not everybody's going to post that. I mean, I wouldn't basically judge what I want for my life on social media, because of course you're just going to post the good part about it. Why would I get up on social media and post something that's really devastating to me? I don't want you to see that. So I would not take it so seriously, really and truly. I mean, it really isn't that deep. It's just social media. It's just, I'm showing you the part of my life I want you to see. You know, and by me posting doesn't mean you know everything about me. I'm just posting what I want you to know, you know? So I wouldn't take social media that seriously. And the likes, if I like my picture, I'm gonna post my picture. If you like it, then you like it. But if I like it, I'm gonna post it.
That's a good one. Okay, so I know that you're entrepreneur. We talked about that earlier with your mom. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to advertise your business. Tell my listeners about your business and where they could purchase your products.
So it's a network marketing company. It is we offer natural vitamins as well as orthopedic garments. You could purchase it on, well, there is a website link. Mommy probably gave it to you. I'm not sure if she did. You could probably get it after, but there's a link that you can go on as well as to see the entire website for the company, and you can purchase through the website as well. So that's what it is. We offer vitamins, garments, as well as you can get paid for being in the company too. So
I myself am using the products. I bought
you
some,
like it?
and at first I thought this stuff here cannot be tasting good, but I drink it and it tastes good. I have the calcium that I take. I have the I can't remember the top of my head, the yellow bottle. I have the red
The
bottle.
multiplus.
Right. And I must say, I can drink it. I enjoy the taste. And it makes me feel so much better, because when the first interview I did with your mom, my voice was really hoarse. And when we got off, she said, "Oh, I have something to help you with that." And quite honestly, I was like, that ain't even gonna work, whatever she said, but it did. It honestly did. I kid you not. It honestly did. And I have it in my refrigerator. I take it and I don't have that hoarseness in my voice. And if I do and I drink it, it helps me with that. I enjoy drinking the products that make me feel good. And I will be flashing it across my screen where, the audience could get, the products from. What was the one last thing that you would like to say to my audience before we wrap up?
Like I said, it's basically for you to know who you are at first, and then everything else will come after that. I probably would say take your time. It's no rush. Literally, it's if you're in your early 20s, it's no rush. It probably would feel that way, especially because, like I said, social media, but it's not a rush. It would happen whenever you want it to happen. So
good advice. And that's for everything. Don't get anxious. The Bible says it, be anxious about nothing. It says it in the Bible. So we're hearing it from Chanel Jackson this afternoon. Chanel, thank you so much for joining in. If you guys want to be a guest on Unleashing Unlimited Power, please send me an email at unleashingunlimitedpower@gmail.com. You could listen to this recording and other tape-ins on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor. They'll be posted here momentarily. Thank you so much for joining in, Chanel Jackson. I really appreciate it. It was lovely to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You could be a guest in the future if you'd like to. Thank you for joining in. You have a good evening.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.